Uber and Lyft drivers in California win the right to unionize. So what's it mean for the gig economy?
A union potentially gives us the right to organize and bargain collectively, something we haven't had before. It's every driver for themselves as things are now.
And that's where we will start tonight. Good evening, I'm Brian Hackney.
And I'm Andrea Nakano. The new law, which Governor Newsom signed Friday, requires app-based transportation companies like Uber and Lyft to negotiate in good faith with any unions that may now be formed.
And that makes California the second state in the country after Massachusetts to allow these so-called gig workers to collectively bargain for better pay and benefits. Amanda Harry spoke with a driver about what it all means and why it still might not be enough.
More than a decade ago, Jason Munderloh made a change. He left his biomedical research job and started driving people around San Francisco.
The pay was pretty good early on.
At first, he loved being a driver for rideshare apps like Lyft and Uber.
The advantages were, it's an exciting job potentially. You get to see the city, get to meet a lot of people, and if the pay is good, and we have real support and dignity for drivers, it can be a great job, and it was at one point. You have to be able to drive when people need rides.
Things changed, especially during the pandemic, when less people were using the apps.
That's the way it was. A bus got delayed because of it, all kinds of stuff.
Usage has picked up, but their pay is still lagging behind what it used to be for many rides. Munderloh adds Prop 22, which was passed in 2020, has also made things more difficult. It classifies drivers as independent contractors. They don't get full employee protections like overtime, paid sick leave, or unemployment insurance. But Friday, Governor Gavin Newsom signed a new bill giving drivers the right to create a first union contract and requires the companies to negotiate in good faith over issues such as driver deactivation, paid leave, and earnings.
A union potentially gives us the right to organize and bargain collectively, something we haven't had before. It's every driver for themselves as things are now. Fight is ahead of us. We're really going to have to put our backs into it.
But he admits the legislation isn't perfect.
The bill had some flaws. Looking more into it, my organization, Rideshare Drivers United, identified 7 places that the bill should be changed to protect, for example, what our wages are during negotiation. What if we enter negotiation and the algorithm suddenly changes and they're not paying us very well? That's really, nobody's had to deal with algorithmic employment before in a union contract negotiation.
He explains that they're in uncharted territory, and there's no language in the bill that promises a living wage.
We are some of the first workers that are being affected by AI. The algorithm that they have will basically try to find the person who is willing to take the ride for the cheapest, maybe the most desperate person, and give a ride to that person, undercutting everybody else. So we're really facing AI and algorithmic discrimination in a way that nobody has.
In a statement, the director of public policy at Lyft, Nick Johnson, was in support of the legislation, saying, quote, "This deal is a major victory for both riders and drivers in California." As part of the agreement, Newsom also signed a second bill, which will drastically reduce insurance coverage requirements for the ride-hailing companies. But Munderloh says there's more work to be done. The drivers still need to come together to form the union and put the right people in place to negotiate for better working conditions.
The future of rideshare really depends on drivers themselves, and we know that the city doesn't function without us. We know we're essential workers. It's just a matter of us coming together, being organized, and standing up for ourselves.